Welcome to From the Pilot's Seat. Join me as we explore real aviation stories, lessons learned, and incredible flying machines. If you love flying or want to learn, hit subscribe and come along for the ride. For deeper insights, check out my books, Lessons from the Sky and From the Pilot's Seat. They could make all the difference on your next flight.
Housed in Simi Valley, north of Los Angeles, is one of the most famous planes in the world, with one of the most recognizable names, Air Force One. Since 1943, Air Force One has been a powerful symbol of the U.S. presidency and is known as the Flying White House. Between 1962 and 1990, the Boeing 707 was the aircraft of choice, serving 10 U.S. presidents, including Eisenhower, Kennedy, Nixon, and Reagan. Colonel Rayner Roberts from Montana is one of the elite few chosen to fly this American icon.
But I kind of got hooked on flying. My passion is horses and airplanes. And you can tell by the way I dress, it's still horses.
As a World War II fighter pilot, he flew 70 combat missions and shot down numerous enemy aircraft over Europe. 40 years later, at the age of 88, he has traveled to California to reunite with his old friend, Air Force One.
How beautiful. Beautiful cockpit. And you had to memorize everything. You had to know what everything was. And you had to be able to reach out and touch everything blindfolded. This is your power, your throttle, and these are your reversers.
It's as though the colonel has never left the cockpit. And it's not surprising. Only the best pilots are selected to fly Air Force One, and they need a minimum of 2,000 hours flying experience, which Colonel Roberts gained serving in the Second World War and in Korea.
The most memorable moment in combat is flying top cover for the invasion of Normandy. I was flying P-38. It was a great airplane. It had 450 caliber machine guns and a 20-millimeter cannon in the nose, and a lot of firepower. And you could go right through tanks with the armor-piercing shells. It was very maneuverable. Below 15,000 feet, we could take on and whip anything down there. We were flying at 2,500 feet top cover and watching 10,000 ships form off of the coast of England and then go across the channel and hit the beaches. And being able to see battleships shoot their guns and see the smoke rings come out of the guns and see the shells hit. You could walk across the channel on the boats. The whole thing was just big. Yeah, big.
U.S. presidents weren't the only famous passengers Colonel Roberts had while serving with Air Force One.
We flew one trip that had all the Kennedys on the airplane. President Johnson said, take my airplane, he called it my airplane, his airplane, and fly all the Kennedys over to London, where they were having a memorial dedicated to John F. Kennedy.
Competition between the U.S. and Soviet Union during the Cold War also provided the background for many amazing stories.
Johnson found out from his Secret Service that the Russians were introducing a new airplane, and they're flying it for the first time, and they're going to land it at Le Bourget, France air show. And he wanted his airplane with the vice president and the two astronauts that had just walked in space to land just 4 seconds ahead of him. And a radio operator calls up from his radio center and says, sir, we don't have a diplomatic clearance to land in France, sir. Colonel Cross is flying the airplane. She just says, the hell with him. He just kept flying the airplane. Why? Because we had the vice president on board.
When he looks back at everything he has accomplished, his time with Air Force One will always be a career highlight.
Just the fact that you did get to fly it. You're one of the few in the whole Air Force. And then I get out here and see this beautiful thing that I was part of. It just kind of takes me back home, so to speak. Yeah.
If you love flying or want to learn, hit subscribe and come along for the ride. For deeper insights, check out my books, Lessons from the Sky and From the Pilot's Seat. They could make all the difference on your next flight.